Good afternoon and welcome to today's Clergy check-in for Monday, October 5th. As we know, we are in the midst of Chol HaMoed Sukkot, the intermediary days or the secular days of the festival of Sukkot, as we're allowed to go to work and go to school and do all of our normal activities, with the addition of Leshev Basukah, dwelling in a sukkah for at least one meal or for part of the day, if at all possible. The cantor sang both on Friday night and Saturday night for the final song, Turn, Turn, Turn by Pete Seeger. And indeed, there is a sequence within the Jewish calendar that everything turns within the calendar, and there is something within every season under heaven. What is clear about Sukkot is that what was observed in the biblical period and the importance of Sukkot is relatively different than what we consider in our season important to us today. If we were to rate the high holy days, we would probably place them, many of us, as number one on the category of importance, taking Shabbat out of the mix for the moment, since Shabbat happens every week and is considered to be the most important holiday. And people might put Passover there and kind of mix it. If we were to ask our kids, they would probably put Hanukkah and Purim ahead of any holiday. But actually, at least from my perspective, Passover is even more significant in Jewish history than Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah, because if the Passover experience didn't happen, our ancestors would have been enslaved further in Egypt, and we may very well not be here today. So that's one perspective. But from the scholarship's perspective, the rabbi's perspective, Sukkot actually takes a paramount position in the Jewish calendar. It's called the Chag. It is the holiday, the festival, which kind of makes it a bit higher on the scale than either Passover or Shavuot, which are also called Chagim, festivals. But what's clear is that there were different requirements that took place during Sukkot that superseded any other holiday. For those of us who believe that Pesach is critical to Jewish history and emplacement in terms of importance on our calendar cycle, on Passover, there were 12 or 14 bulls additionally sacrificed. On Sukkot, there was an additional 70 bulls sacrificed, in addition to a whole load of other animals, from sheep to deer. And the reason for this is that Sukkot really takes its rooting not just in Jewish tradition. It goes back to a Canaanite tradition of a festival during the harvest season. And that was shared by many, many, many people. And in fact, the rabbis believe that the additional 70 bulls correlated to the 70 nations of the world, all of which depended upon agriculture for livelihood and for survival. And so for the Israelites, agricultural, as they entered into the new land, became the most essential aspect of their lives, which is why on Sukkot we begin to pray for rain and for wind, because as we know in Israel today, as much as in ancient Israel, they need that rainy season between the period of primarily between October and April in order for there to be produce, crops, and for survival for an agricultural agrarian society. And so what we see is it's true, turn, turn, turn. Turn the history of the Jewish people around and around and around. And what we see is, depending on where we enter into the Jewish narrative, we find what we believe to be the most significant pieces of our own tradition. But to remember that this is the Feast of Ingathering, it is the Feast of Thanksgiving, and whether we farm or don't, or have gardens that bear fruit and vegetables or don't, we know that the agricultural cycle within our world is critical to sustaining us each and every day. Chag Sameach, have a good holiday, have a good day.